Greetings, I'm Dr. Sean Reed, author of The Dating Toolbox, available on Amazon.com. If you like what you see and hear today, please hit the like and the subscribe button. Okay, so today's video is going to be about increasing your value. We always talk about the high value man. The high value man gets the woman. Okay, but very often, videos, seduction advice, relationship advice doesn't really give you specific advice on how to become higher value. So today I want to talk about a very specific way to develop your value, and that is through bodybuilding and martial arts. Probably talk more about bodybuilding than martial arts. I'll have more videos on each topic. This is a picture of me long ago when I was a competitive bodybuilder. I was also a competitive martial artist. But today I just want to go over a few principles of bodybuilding and martial arts. And in honor of today's topic, I wore my tank top showing off my 63-year-old body. Unfortunately, I don't look like I did when I was competing in martial arts, but I still reap many of the benefits of bodybuilding. So I want to talk about increasing your value through bodybuilding and martial arts. Okay, the first thing you need to understand: a lot of guys will go out and they'll train and they'll develop a bodybuilder's physique, and then they'll wonder, why aren't women just beating down my doors to get at me? I mean, look at me. I'm lean. I'm muscular. I look great. One of the first things you need to understand is that just becoming a bodybuilder and martial artist in and of itself is not going to necessarily make you successful with women. You still have to have the ability to open. You still have to have the ability to converse. You still need to have those 4 qualities I was talking about the other day in my other videos in order to get women to love you and keep you and love you. But what bodybuilding does and martial arts is it greatly increases your ability to do that. So bodybuilding won't automatically make you God's gift to women, but what it will do is it will get you in the game. It will increase your value, and when you combine it with talking to women, opening women, getting good at talking to them, with getting phone numbers, getting better at getting dates, it'll enhance your ability to do all those things tremendously. And let's talk a little bit about why. I've mentioned this before. Good relationship advice is contingent really on how much it's in congruence with the female brain. And when I talk about the female brain, I'm talking about the evolutionary structure of the female brain that developed over 200,000 years. And I was talking the other day about how I want my people who watch my videos, who read my book, I want them to study my stuff, but I want them also to study other relationship advisors and seduction advisors. But I've also said there's a lot of garbage out there. And the reason it's garbage is it's not in congruence with the design of the female brain. And that's where I felt traditional academia was so wrong for so long. Focusing on communication when really what we need to focus on is the degree to which a woman loves a man or not. Okay? So again, when we're looking at relationship advice, we need to look at the bottom line, and that is, does it increase a woman's interest in a man? Does it increase interest level? Does it increase the chance that your woman will love you? A woman in love is really the ultimate goal. When you have a woman in love that loves you, communication, this other stuff isn't going to really matter. And women love high-value men. And one of the factors of that, one of the 4 factors of that is a quality I call safety. And a woman is going to be driven to be more attracted to a man that creates this notion of safety. And so that's why traditionally they talk about the fact that, taller men tend to get more women, right? What are the 3 sixes, 6 feet, 6-pack, and 6-figure income? Being taller increases your chance to attract women. However, why? Let's unpack that a little bit. Why does being taller increase your chances with women? It does because it contributes to that notion of safety. A taller man is going to generate a feeling of safety in women, and that's why. But if we can get at that feeling of safety, we can do it without you being 6'3". And that's why I argue that bodybuilding is a great way to do that. So if you're 5'8" and 140 pounds, you're not going to make a woman feel safe. But if you're 5'8", 175 pounds of rock hard muscle, you've got a great physique, you're going to be able to create a feeling of safety in a woman. And that's why bodybuilding can be so effective. You can't use it, but you can't, like I said, you can't expect to train hard for 2 or 3 years, eat right, and automatically attract women. You have to use it in conjunction with your other skills, but it can get you in the game, okay? So, again, this goes back to this notion of this evolution. Again, we look at how this fits in to the evolution of the female brain, and we can see now why women were attracted to the bad boy, right? Because for 180,000 years, the bad boy greatly increased a woman's chance of survival. He would kill all threats. He would have the greatest chance of protecting her. The problem we have nowadays is bad boys can't maintain relationships. And so, I know a guy who fought in the UFC, I know a guy who fought in Bellator, and they had problem in relationships because they were making other mistakes. They were arguing with their women. They weren't recognizing certain patterns. So just having that, like I said, having the ability to protect a woman, to generate that feeling, say that's one of the things, you still need the other things, but bodybuilding will greatly enhance that ability. Okay, so the question now is, and obviously I'm going to have more videos on this topic, how do I become a bodybuilder? How do I get started? Okay, partly this is dependent on your age. If you're younger, if you're under 35, then I would argue that you start in a traditional way. You do basic bodybuilding exercises, squat, deadlift, bench press, bent over barbell row, right? And another thing I advise is don't take on too much at once. I've been coaching bodybuilders, I've been coaching strength and combat athletes for decades. I've been bodybuilding for 49 years myself. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they take on too much. So they go on this brutal 6-day-a-week, 2-hour-a-day training regimen, and they get burned out and they don't stick to it. So the first thing I advise you is to pick a program that is going to help you build a pattern of success. So that's why I generally tell people, start with a 3-day-a-week program. Start with a 2-way split. And when I say a 2-way split, I mean do upper body one day and lower body the other day. Ideally, we stick to basic exercises. I really want you to train the way, I don't necessarily want you to train like an advanced bodybuilder. I want you to train like someone becoming a bodybuilder. So there's a way I advise bodybuilders to train the first 5 to 7 years, and that's in very basic exercises. This does change if you're older. As you get older, sometimes we have to modify exercises. I don't squat anymore. I don't do regular deadlifts anymore. I've been training for 49 years. I did them for 35 years. But you're going to want to train a certain way to build a base, a foundation, and you're going to want to train that way ideally for 5 to 7 years. If you're older, we would have to adapt your types of training. But again, we can get it. I intend at some point to get into more specifics of how to train. But what I would say right now is, for starters, start with just a 3-day-a-week program, half your body one day, the other half the other day. Keep your training fairly brief. Try and keep your weight training to an hour and 15 minutes. Again, what we want to do is we want to set up a pattern of success. We want you to become successful. So you become successful at training 3 days a week. You become successful at eating right. And I have very specific dietary advice. I'd like to do something known as carbohydrate spacing and combining. I'd like to have most of my carbohydrate intake before and after I train, and then keep carbohydrates low the rest of the time. That way we can simultaneously build muscle and reduce body fat at the same time. Again, I'll get into more specifics of this, but for right now, what I advise you to do is to develop a 3-day-a-week training pattern and to start cleaning up your eating. We build a pattern of success, and then later we can build upon that. We can go to a 4-day-a-week training. We can go to a 3-way split, and eventually get you maybe training 5 days a week. But again, that's down the road. That's when we develop a successful 3-day-a-week program. So, guys, bodybuilding will increase your value. It'll help get you in the game, and it'll give you that evolutionary quality of providing safety for a woman. So give it a try.